I can paint a figure, and with color, I can show their emotion, their character, and their life. My name is Mary Rappazzo. My name sign incorporates the initial M and the sign for paint to indicate that I am a painter. I grew up in LA with my family, who are all hearing, and I went to the Mary Bennett School. It's an oral program in Los Angeles. I was there for kindergarten and first grade, and then later I transferred to a mainstream program. I went to Pierce College to study art, mostly painting, and then graphic design. I made the switch to graphic design because I wanted an economically stable career. I didn't want to be one of those starving artists. I wanted to make sure that I had a viable career while also focusing on my painting. I graduated with my AA degree from Pierce College, and then I went to CSUN, where I studied graphic design again, as well as painting. I received my Bachelor of Arts degree in graphic design with a minor in painting. Art has always been a part of me. As a child, I would draw stick figures. I was always doodling and drawing, and that later developed to a greater extent. My grandmother felt that I had some natural talent, and she encouraged me to learn more. She taught me how to paint, being a self-taught painter herself. She taught me more and more over time, and she started teaching me when I was about 10 years old. But it was mostly representational and traditional art, like flowers and landscapes and barns. Pretty things, but not a lot of emotion in any of it. I have 3 favorite artists. I love a wide variety of art, but 3 have really influenced me. My art is about self-development, and those artists love color, and I just adore their art. The first one is Georgia O'Keeffe, Edward Hopper, and the third one is Grant Wood. When I began this style, my style of art, it's original and emotional. I mostly express emotion through color. I can paint a figure, and with color, I can show their emotion, their character, and their life. I give considerable thought to what I want to communicate to the world. I'll research an idea, sketch a layout, and start with pencil drawings. When I'm satisfied with an image, I'll transfer it to a canvas. I might use another material like this, but mostly it's canvas. I'll begin with a pencil line drawing, and then I'll build layers of color, starting with the base colors. I'll often step back to get perspective on the piece, and I'll continue to work on the painting, improving it with each step until I'm happy with it. I want to make sure that I have the composition right and the colors right, that the colors are harmonious. It's important that the characters have a cohesive relationship within the piece. I have 3 themes in my work. The first one, well, people often ask me why I paint in this style because it's different. I didn't really have any idea. So to answer that, I had to look within and evaluate both my own reasons and my work. In doing so, I realized that the characters in my artwork were missing sensory organs, like the mouth, their eyes and ears. Like me, they were deaf. Yet they were still fully engaged in life, interacting with happy and sad times. It's all good. The second theme in my work is that the figures are able to view life as outsiders looking in. They want so badly to fit in. Simultaneously, they are insiders looking out, seeing the sadness and the desire to join in. A third theme is social justice. That means a group of people helping to support one another, keeping the group together and strong, while allowing outsiders a chance to join in. Those 3 themes really come together in my art. I would encourage students to learn the basics. Be motivated, stay positive, and never give up. Always work hard and experiment through self-discovery to develop their own style. I would tell them to not copy the style of others, as it's not their work. They need to represent who they are and focus on finding their own style. Again, stay motivated and have a good attitude, and most of all, stay positive. This painting is called The Learning Circle. There are many themes present here. You'll remember I mentioned my third theme was outsiders. The boy in the picture here is looking in. He wants to join in and participate. The boy could be based on my experiences being deaf and feeling like an outsider. Also, I could be the girl in the group learning. I could be the teacher, too. I have a relationship to each of these figures from personal experiences for many of the themes here. So that was the boy. Another theme is communication. This character's hands are down in a hole in the desk, indicating an inability to communicate. Sometimes I feel like my communication gets stuck. My signs don't flow freely. Or when I communicate with hearing people, communication can just fall apart. Each viewer may interpret this differently, but these are my views on the work. The green hair was just a way to pull people into the conversation. I wanted to draw them into the painting. If they noticed the green hair, from there they might notice the other details. Being drawn into the painting is achieved through perspective of the image as well. Perspective is so important, as is composition. This character's brown hair is just a part of the plan, with no real reason other than I wanted her to be different. It leads to people asking why. To which I say, why not? This painting is called Party of One. As you can see, the girl is alone, an outsider, and sad, while the people behind her are all having fun. I've experienced this many times. I've been this girl. I've also been in the other group too, feeling connected to people. But growing up, I was more often that lonely girl. The colors in the painting relate to an era of the 50s and 60s, as does the style of clothing. Colors that were muted and dull. Even the furnishings were simple. This painting is entitled The Inner Circle. You can see the boy in the background is an outsider to the group, and you can sense his desire to fit in, his sadness. This painting is called One Voice. Earlier I mentioned my 3 themes, with the third one being social justice. This group of people has come together to support and help one another, and to make sure that the outsiders are drawn into the group. Here they march together for their common rights. Any rights. Deaf rights, gay rights, human rights. It brings about a good feeling to see them united together, yet the landscape at the top is desert-like, dry-looking, feeling isolated. Yet they are together, so they're not isolated. However, there is one person who remains an outsider over here, still unsure whether to join the group or not. Again, perspective pulls you into the painting and into the group. This painting is called Nourishing the Soul. This is a very powerful and emotional image for me as it relates to my own relationship with my wonderful mother who supported me as I grew up. I think about my mom and how she cared for her children, and it elicits good feelings. I was happy to paint this. When I share this with friends who don't have that kind of relationship with their mothers, it makes me feel sad that they're missing that, those positive feelings. I can't explain it, but I feel lucky, and I hope that they'll have an opportunity to connect with their own mothers if they could. So this painting is part of that experience. This painting also shows an era in its muted colors, its simple design that draw you into the picture. The mother is deaf, and I don't often see paintings that depict a deaf mother. It also shows that deaf mothers can be strong and nurturing for their children, and that they're not weak. This is an oil painting, and so it is thick paint and saturated in color. Very powerful. The name of this painting is Invasion of Privacy. It's something that happened to me after walking home from work. When I climbed the stairs, I noticed the door was ajar, broken into. It gave me goosebumps. It's not a nice feeling. Luckily, no one was still in my home, and I just had to paint that experience so that I could let it go. I was not happy. I felt violated. And so you see here the door is broken. And the light pulls you into the picture. This painting is called The Three Figures. This was my first one. Before I say more about this, though, when I was 10, I was learning to paint flowers, barns, landscapes. But this one, this is where it began. I was taking painting at Pierce College, and my teacher told me to experiment. Try something new. So, I saw a black and white photo that I liked, and I wanted to turn that into a painting. But as I was developing the image, I thought, why not play around with this and add some color? No real reason for that. It just came from my unconscious mind out through my hands to the canvas. And when I stood back to look at it, I realized that these are happy colors. It's different. And I decided to add more layers of color and create paintings with similar colors. And now here I am in an exhibit of my work. And I can look around and see my life's experiences. And it all started with this one. From there it grew to what you see here today. This painting is called Dinner of Silence. This is about my family dinner table experience. The girl with the hearing aid represents my experience. The mother is talking, but the girl is unaware of what's going on. Again, there's no communication with the hands in the hole in the table. And the father just sits blankly. Someone is cooking in the background. They're all silent. There's no conversation. When I painted the girl and the picture, it was a semi-self-portrait. It was my way to share with the world my experience. The theme is more about the outsider, having no communication. This one shows a lot of my experience in this painting, and theirs too, with struggle. That second theme is mostly about struggle, and at the same time, not struggling, because you feel part of a group and you can fit in. This painting is called The Dressing Room. It's about an actress looking at herself. She has a photo of herself on the table. She's focused on herself. But I want you to see in the door behind her a hidden figure in shadow. Most of my paintings use doors or windows as a way to escape or to have you see what's behind them. Very often I use them along with perspective. The door or the window has to work with perspective, as it does here, to pull you into the scene, to draw your eye to what will create curiosity about what's behind that door. This painting is called Deaf American Gothic. This, of course, is about one of my favorite artists. I love all art, but this one is originally by Grant Wood. I love his work, and so I decided to transform one of his classics with a deaf spin and add an old-fashioned hearing aid. Long ago, that's what they used to look like. They looked like a horn. No pitchfork needed with that. Like a hearing aid, he could put it up to his ear to say, "What?